Hey everybody, welcome to the show. This is What's Phantom in Japan.
Hey everybody, getting with the green out there, getting with the G1 Classic. Jesus Christ, that was awesome.
G1 Classic, I didn't know it was called that. I think it's the G1 Climax.
Well, for me,
is what it's called. For you, it's called the Classic.
This one was a classic.
This was our first G1, right? Like, I've never watched a full G1. I've been vaguely aware of what it is over the past few years, but I haven't really followed it or known what it was exactly. And this was the first time for me and for you, and I think it was just a great first time. What a tournament. What an experience of professional wrestling. Like, we got to see some awesome matches, 90 matches, over the past month, and it's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, being de-virginized never felt so good, brother.
Okay.
It was fantastic. I learned.
I'm not going to ask more questions about that.
I learned so much, watched so much crazy good wrestling, fucking got introduced to all these characters, who I knew, and like you said, you knew about the G1, but didn't actually get it so involved in it, and I watched pretty much every single match, which... So it's fantastic. And as we were saying before, we were talking before this show, like, how do we even break it down?
Yeah.
It's like there's so many damn matches. You can't talk about them all. So we decided we'll just talk about the people involved. We'll talk about every performer and how they impressed us or didn't impress us during the show.
Yeah, and maybe some memorable matches that they had kind of along the way, right?
You think we should spoil it right now and say who won?
Sure, of course. This is the wrap-up special. We previewed it before on our last show. This is a monthly podcast. Yeah. And this is the review of the G1. We know who won.
We know who won, and if you're listening to this podcast, you probably know who won as well. It was a fantastic match with Ibushi and
the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Go Ace!
Yeah, Mr. 80s. Honestly, he's like an 80s rock music video.
Yeah,
he's fantastic.
He is amazing. Yeah. He's incredible. He's 40-something years old.
Looks like a cartoon.
Looks in great shape. Looks amazing. Yeah. Still wrestles like one of the best guys in the world today. And he won his third G1. This guy's been in New Japan forever. They call him the Ace for a reason. He's the top guy. He's the number one guy in the company. And, he wasn't able to beat Okada, and that's been his struggle. Okada's long title reign has kind of made it so the story with Tanahashi has been, well, I'm not the same guy I used to be. I can't beat Okada. Maybe Okada is the new Ace of New Japan. And now winning this G1, it really is like a resurgence for Tanahashi, because not only do you win this prestigious tournament, but you go on to the main event or a main event of Wrestle Kingdom, which means that we'll see Tanahashi against either the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Kenny Omega, or whoever's champion in January, or something else. That something else...
I would think it would be Okada.
Because, you think it would be Okada?
Because it's the guy he can't beat.
I think that's something else, maybe something bigger than Okada. I think the biggest name that you want to draw... Jericho? Exactly. Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho, the IWGP Intercontinental Champion, congratulated Hiroshi Tanahashi on his G1 victory on Instagram and Twitter, and he also said, "I'm watching you." Nice. Jericho has faced Kenny Omega. Jericho has faced Tetsuya Naito. There's maybe two guys left in New Japan that Jericho would want to face that he hasn't faced: Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah, I agree, and that'd be a great future.
How cool would that be?
You
want to talk about 80s rock musicians? I mean, Chris Jericho, Fozzy, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sure Chris Jericho really digs his 80s rock cartoon look. And he's so good looking. I think besides like Ibushi, he's probably the best looking Japanese guy I might have ever seen in my life.
Hiroshi Tanahashi?
Yeah,
he's a very handsome man. The ladies love him. Do you notice that they have towels that they put out You know, the fans have them. They hand them to Tanahashi so that he can wipe his sweat and give it back to them. And they're so happy when he does this.
Yeah,
have you ever seen an American wrestler get that type of reaction?
Not quite.
Maybe the Von Erichs brother back in the WCCW days, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's a god, and again he looks like one. He really looks like a Japanimation creation. He's
and
fantastic.
What's awesome about him is that his look is so great. He looks the part. Yeah. He looks amazing. But also in the ring, like that Kota Ibushi match, the final was incredible. And along the way, I mean, you look at his match with Minoru Suzuki, who's another guy who had a great G1. You look at his match with
I like that Suzuki match.
Evil. I mean,
yeah, the Suzuki is like the opposites. It's like this. It's like smooth, good-looking cartoon against this ugly striker.
Like evil villain, though. He looks evil.
Yeah.
He looks like a super villain in a movie. Like if New Japan was a movie, Hiroshi Tanahashi would be the good guy, and Suzuki would be the top bad guy.
Yeah. I'd like to talk about Suzuki a little more. How his matches were so hard. I mean, pretty much across the board, most matches were hard hitting to some degree, you know. But him especially, very striky, you know. Against every one of those guys, against Elgin, super like bash each other in the face. Makabe, these guys were like two brick houses slapping each other, just beating. I don't understand how they don't have all concussions all the time.
These guys are seriously tough dudes. Minoru Suzuki reminds me of like a Dan Henderson type, just an old tough dude who can take punishment like crazy. Go watch Dan Henderson's fight against Shogun. I don't know if you've seen that fight.
I don't know.
Incredible. And then you see that fight and they're hitting each other full on, right? And you're like, how are these guys still standing? And they fought for 25 minutes like that twice. Go back and watch that. But Minoru Suzuki is that type of tough. Like, he's Dan Henderson tough. And there are very few men walking this earth that are Dan Henderson tough.
Yeah, and it adds so much more when he beat the shit out of Asuka there.
Yeah.
He's just so tough. And
but he wound up losing a lot of matches in the G1. He finished with 10 points, which is solid.
Yeah, he's still good.
Tanahashi won the A block with 15 points. Suzuki with 10. But he did wind up losing to Tanahashi, to Togi Makabe, to Okada, and to Hangman Page. No, he lost to Hangman Page.
He lost to Page?
Yeah.
Okay.
He wound up losing. Hangman Page hit him with his big thing. And that was really Hangman Page's big win of the tournament, I think. Because he wound up losing a lot.
He lost a lot. I expected so much more from him. But
he won 3 matches. He beat Minoru Suzuki, Bad Luck Fale by disqualification, because Fale pretty much all his losses were by DQ. And he also beat Togi Makabe.
Yeah.
So he beat Makabe and Suzuki, but that was it for Hangman Page. He got 6 points, which had him finishing at the bottom of the A block, tied with Michael Elgin, Yoshihashi, and Bad Luck Fale, all finishing with 6. We had Evil and Suzuki with 10 points, Jay White with 12, and then you had Okada with 13 and Hiroshi Tanahashi finishing with 15.
With 15, yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know where to start there.
It's a lot. It's a lot of info, man.
Page, I noticed a lot more. Like I was really high on him the past few shows, but I noticed some I noticed some immaturity from him a couple times, like times where he wasn't selling or he was doing things without purpose. Like like his one of his big moves is his shooting star press off the apron.
Yeah,
he always does that, and like
he misses a lot of the times too.
And it's a really impressive and kind of dangerous move or whatever. And he gets up after like nothing happened, and like sometimes doesn't sell, not even to get the pop from the crowd, not even just back in right into like a whip or something. Like it's like I understand Japan style is different for their selling practices, but it's like
I think he would be a better wrestler if he did some of the things that you said.
Yeah,
because he is missing certain elements, certain certain emotions you don't feel when you watch Hangman Page. He's got a lot of the moves and the athleticism down, but there are certain things like a guy that Kenny Omega does that you feel in the storytelling that is lacking from a guy like Hangman. And I think that's really the only thing that's missing from his game. And you say it's immaturity. I hope it is. And as he matures as a pro wrestler, he becomes a complete package. Because he seems like he will be down the road.
To quote Jericho and kind of show how Omega does it, he needs to drink it in, man. And that means like after doing something, it needs to like kind of his character needs to savor that instead of just moving on to the next thing. Because when you savor it, or at least look like you're savoring it, it really adds to the emotional level, the depth of that match. You know, so if you just moving right along, it's like it kind of no sells what you were trying to build.
That's it. Slow down a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
Not saying change the style. Not saying slow down altogether, but slowing down a little bit might help him. And then next year's G1, you know, who knows? He might win. Because I think we did look at Hangman Page going into this one as maybe this will be his breakout performance. You know, Cody's not in the G1. He seems like he's kind of in the shadow of Cody in that whole gimmick that they're doing right now in the Elite. So with Cody not there, I thought Hangman would do better, but he just, you know, he had some decent matches, but there wasn't anything amazing from Hangman Page, and he didn't come out with a lot of points.
The guy did really well. Jay White, he shows man. They're going to be pushing him a little bit.
He is a great heel because he does things, and you're like, Jay White, you are a dick. You know, like he really comes off like an asshole. Yeah. Like it's very well done. It started where he whipped Juice Robinson into Jim Ross and knocked him off, and then posed in front of Jim Ross, and Josh Barnett got all mad. But now he's been doing it constantly. He knocked the English commentary off the air at one point during the G1, and he knew what he was doing, and he kept doing it. He kept throwing his opponents into that spot in front of the commentary on the guardrail to get heat, which is real heat and pretty awesome. Like, Jay White impressed me in the G1 because he was such a heel, and he's in Chaos too, and he was in these tag team matches with Sho and Yo, the Roppongi 3K, and there were instances where he should have come in and made the save, but he just didn't and let them lose and didn't care, and he beat Okada as well during the G1, which was pretty big. I mean, Okada didn't lose a ton of matches. A really big performance from Jay White, and I was impressed by him. He's really good athletically, but that character stuff, I feel like really came through in the past month.
Yeah, I find he's really grown leaps and bounds for me. The other guy who kind of impressed me, but I was disappointed a little bit with the booking, was Bad Luck Fale. I really dig his gimmick, you know, fucker him, and you know, he looks badass and with his dudes. But
you were not liking Bad Luck Fale last time we spoke. You were like, I don't like him. He looks like kind of a bouncer. Yeah, I don't think he's much of a wrestler. But now you're a Bad Luck Fale fan.
Well, I like more of the character. That I still think he needs to, I don't know, in a different shape. I don't know, but maybe not even.
I feel like his shape is part of his gimmick.
Yeah, I just there's something missing there. I think with his selling, sometimes he comes off a bit too big and slow. But I mean that's just how you're supposed to be. I mean, I'm one to talk big and slow, but you know, I really felt it just got a bit annoying that every single match was a beatdown after him looking like he was going to lose. So like it wasn't like he's strong and winning. Sometimes he just, you know, he actually comes off really weak because he needed his friends to win he needed his friends to lose every time, you know.
Yeah, or cheat to win. Yeah. He did beat Okada.
Yeah, he did beat Okada.
Okada lost twice in this tournament, and it was early on, and it was to Jay White and to Bad Luck Fale. But it's not like Fale beat him clean. He had still Tama Tonga and Tonga Leo outside helping him out, or Tanga Loa, whatever. Camacho. The ex-Camacho. Mm. Yeah. But yeah, Bad Luck Fale was kind of doing the same thing in A Block that Tama Tonga was doing in B Block, right? Tama Tonga, he didn't win a whole lot of matches. He won 3 matches, 6 points, finishing, dead last, tied with Toru Yano, Juice Robinson, and Hiroko Goto. Tama Tonga, I thought was going to do a lot better in this G1. He made an impression for sure.
He had 6 points,
yeah,
but he had the most gun stuns ever. Like,
he hit everybody with gun stun.
Everyone got gun stunned. Like every gun stun. That's the like commentating line of the tournament. I think.
People sold it like death.
Yeah.
People sold it like boom, done. I'm getting hit with a gun stun. I'm out. Tama Tonga looked strong despite not winning a lot of matches. He got into it with fans. He charged at a fan and got his hands on a fan. He got warned by the company. He got into it with Roman Reigns on Twitter during this G1.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't see any of that.
Oh, man. He was going back and forth with Roman, saying that just how Roman couldn't hang in his world, and Roman's like, come to my yard and see what happens. Just kind of a little bit of back and forth between Tama Tonga and Roman Reigns, which is funny because they have a similar look. Like they look similar. So if the WWE were to use this and somehow bring Tama Tonga in as like Roman's evil brother or something, a Roman cousin that he doesn't like, and the Usos are like, oh no, not Tama, here comes Tama, and then Tama beats up Roman, like it could be big money for Tama Tonga, and I'm not convinced that that's not
in the future,
possible,
with his family, like he's Haku's son, right?
Yeah.
So like, and Haku's respected like crazy by Vince McMahon and stuff. That's definitely in the future.
It's possible, but then again, he might ask his friends Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows how they like WWE, and they might not tell him they like it very much. Yeah. How they doing right now? Where are they? I haven't seen them on TV in weeks.
Collecting paychecks,
I guess so.
It's like sometimes, yeah. I mean, to perform, you want the biggest stages and stuff, but there's also like you'd like to take a break sometimes and then get back to it later. So maybe, I mean, I have to talk to Luke Gallows, but they were busy for a while. Like in Japan, they were working hard. Winning belts. Even when they got WWE, they won the belts and stuff, and now maybe just on a little hiatus. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not bad to take a little break and collect a paycheck while your body heals up.
And especially, especially if you're doing Japanese style wrestling, like it's incredible the beatings these people took in this tournament, especially. Like guys like Omega, Tanahashi, Okada, Ibushi, just getting their ass. Like kicking each other's ass, so incredible. Like just something similar like a power bomb, where you'll see once in a while you might see one in WWE, from Kevin, his pop up power bomb, which is it's probably the best power bomb in WWE. But if you go back to something like the Batista bomb, which was thought of as the hardest, the big killer power bomb, it's like so wimpy compared to all the power bombs you see in almost every match in Japan.
And the pile drivers.
Yeah, and the pile drivers and the neck bumps are just so like just stiff clotheslines where they do crazy bumps off them. I mean, so many head drops and stuff. So like this stuff takes its toll, So going to WWE, the schedule can be a little rougher, but not on your body in that sense necessarily,
Yeah, that's true.
And so
you look at Kenny Omega. I mean, his G1 was incredible. Did anybody have a better G1 than Kenny Omega? I think his matches, every single time he went out there, it was very special, and he did something different. Well, I think Kenny Omega had the best tournament.
I mean, what's his? He's the
best bout machine.
The best bout machine. I mean, that's what he does. He has that charisma. He has the moves. He has, like you said, every time he comes out, it's special. There's something special going on there, and you can feel it. You can feel his. Everything means something. It's like it's really deep. Honestly, it's like it's really fun to watch, and so like he's one of those guys like we were saying before. Oh, when's our next show? And New Japan's on hold for about a month.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think they just need a break. Like their bodies, they need an off season. Every major sport has an off season except WWE for some reason.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see there's an off season. Not that I want to go away, but I'd need to see some of the more of this action. And if you haven't, well, there's still tons of good matches you can still watch. Even if you know who won the tournament.
And don't forget, All In is on September 1st, so it's really not that far away.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of break, but it's not that far away. But they need that little bit of break.
Yeah. Kenny Omega, after the G1 he had, I think he definitely needs a break. Just that match with Kota Ibushi, which, we saw that match. We knew it was going to be on the last night of the G1. We didn't know how important it was going to be because it wound up being the deciding match. Who goes on? It was winner goes on between Omega and Ibushi. And Ibushi wound up winning and going on to face Tanahashi in the finals. But that match was amazing. Yeah, the next day he did that. But that match that Ibushi and Kenny had, they hit each other with everything.
Everything, and a bunch of times. And I don't know, I don't understand how the next day you can go out and then have another broken body match like they did.
There was one time where Kenny was up on the top rope, and Ibushi did a thing where he did a double stomp on the back of Kenny's head, and Kenny's head just kind of bounced around. And I was like, He could be dead. That could kill a guy. That was crazy. I don't know how they pulled that off. Ibushi did this moonsault that he did to Tanahashi as well, where he does a moonsault and lands double knees down on the guy's chest. How does that not crush Kenny Omega in half?
Insane.
It's
and then
unbelievable.
He was selling it like his ribs were broken.
Yeah.
And there's no way that they're not at least feeling it.
It's crazy.
It was so hard.
They go through so much stuff that even you and I, you've wrestled countless matches for years. I've been watching wrestling forever. We know what to expect when we watch pro wrestling, but I'm watching this stuff going, how the hell are these guys doing this? This is groundbreaking stuff because I'm in awe of some of this stuff that I watch in New Japan.
The next day after taking a couple power bombs, you feel it, And
imagine going through a match with Hiroshi Tanahashi after that.
These guys are feeling it, man. It's hard. It's hard, I wanted to talk before we skipped over real quick, but the Bullet Club, well, the Fale Tonga.
Well, it's like the
Bullet
Tongans
Club
versus the Elite, right?
The Tonga Bullet Club. It's like I like their look of this bad crew, but is a bit too much of getting disqualified every match, because sometimes they didn't get disqualified, but there was one match where Tonga lost, and it was like 3-on-1, and they still end up losing. It's like if you're gonna be in that much of a winning situation, you shouldn't end up losing all the time. Like your 3-on-1 advantage should come to your advantage. It shouldn't be like, it's bad because you're going to lose. It should be like, oh shit, they're 3-on-1. I bet you they can sneak out a victory here and there. It's like, but not even. So they don't. Sneak
he did
out
a couple of times, but a lot of the times he either lost or wound up getting disqualified.
Yeah, and he still, like you said, he only had 6 points, which is the lowest across the board. That's what you get, right?
Yeah, no one got less than 6 points.
So, and they're smart booking. They don't leave one person like, oh, the lowest. There's just a whole bunch.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was really impressed by. Not just the performances in the ring, but the booking of this thing was really impressive, because it went down to the final day with the points and everything, and planning that out before the tournament has got to be so hard. Yeah. It's crazy. I watch WWE, and I don't want to compare the two too much because they're two different wrestling companies and everything, and I get it, but I watch WWE and I'm like, who booked this shit? It's like so dumb and so bad. I'm like, who the hell is in charge here? And I watch New Japan and I'm like, holy shit, who booked this shit? Yeah. These guys are geniuses. This is incredible. The way that it all came down to Zack Sabre Jr. versus Naito, and then Ibushi versus Kenny on the last day of B Block. If Zack Sabre Jr. beat Naito, he'd eliminate him from contention. Naito was... And he did. He was right there. Naito was right there. Zack Sabre Jr. had 10 points. Naito had 12. If Naito would have won, he would have had 14 points, which Kenny would have had to have won. If Ibushi won and Naito won, Naito would have won the B block. But because Naito lost to Zack Sabre Jr., Naito winds up getting eliminated, because even though he had 12 points and Ibushi had 10 and Kenny had 12, because Kenny and Ibushi had both defeated Naito, they would have won in the tiebreaker. So, Naito could have gone by still losing with not even with a draw, because then Kenny would have had 13 points. Yeah. So Naito losing that match to Zack Sabre Jr. eliminated him. The story that they told in the match, the feud now that I think might go on between Naito and Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. is an amazing wrestler. He's so good.
He was one of those, going into it, I thought the A block was stronger, but after watching it, for me, the B block was definitely stronger. Guys like Naito, just Naito and Sabre impressed me more than anything. Even Juice, he really did. And of course, we were talking about Omega and Tonga, but Sabre Jr. If I would look at him, the first time I saw him, I wouldn't have booked that guy. He doesn't look like something I would want to book,
Yeah.
But then, honestly, after a match or two, he's one of my faves. He's so slick with his styles, and he doesn't try to go toe to toe, which is smart, because he still looks a little thin.
He makes it look believable.
Yeah, but his wrestling is really fast paced and just like these unique moves, these unique submissions that. I don't know where he gets it.
Well, a lot of it is that British style. It's like that Billy Robinson, Dynamite Kid, old school British style wrestling that not many guys do anymore.
There's so many
that old catch can stuff.
Yeah. So many submissions and pinfall combinations that I don't even understand. I got to rewind it to see what's actually happening. He's
the art of it is really
it's so
really beautiful,
and to do it so smooth and effortlessly, it looks like he really impressed me. Again, from looking at straight up, I wouldn't give him a shot, and then he proved to me that he's something special. And
he's like a throwback too to the old school technical wrestler. It feels like we don't have guys. I remember growing up, it was like, there'd be wrestlers, there'd be brawlers, and then there'd be the technical wrestlers. And I always liked the technical wrestlers, the guys who could actually put holds together, the Dean Malenko type guys. I always loved watching Dean Malenko because he had a very similar style. He was very, very smooth. But I'd say Zack Sabre Jr. is even smoother.
Yeah, I have a note here. It says Ishii tapped to Zack Sabre Jr., but I don't see Ishii in the...
Yeah. Tomohiro Ishii finished with 10 points, did tap out to Zack Sabre Jr. in their match, which was awesome.
Yeah, okay.
I thought Zack Sabre Jr.'s best match, though, was one that he lost against Sonata, because Sonata has a very similar style, very good grappler. He does that paradise lock where he wraps the guy and then just kind of rolls him and he can't move. Zack Sabre Jr. and Sonata was a real fun match for me because their styles are so similar, but Sonata is more muscle-bound, and he wound up winning. It was very believable, and it made sense that Sonata won that match. He had a good G1 too, Sonata.
Yeah. I want to just comment on Ishii there. He used a mist one time. I really... oh, no, that was Bushi. Sorry.
Oh, no, that was in a tag match. That's something else. Yeah. Ishii is the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii. He's like... short, thick, tough
bald
as hell, and he beat a lot of guys in this tournament. He beat Juice Robinson, he beat Goto, he beat Toru Yano, he beat Kenny Omega, and he beat Sonata, finishing with 10 points.
See, on my sheet, it's blocked. It's cut off.
Oh, yeah, he's cut off at the end.
He's cut off.
But Ishii is tremendous. He is really, really good, and apparently Kenny Omega's never beaten him. And it seems like that the next title defense for Kenny Omega will be against Tomohiro Ishii, which I'm excited about because their match was awesome.
It really was.
I'm a big fan of Ishii's.
He's also one of those tough guys. He has some decent moves, but he's more of a striker than anything.
I don't know if you remember, but he had a match with Michael Elgin in the New Japan Cup that was also incredible. Ishii is... he's one of my favorite guys to watch.
Similar builds.
I like those tough Japanese guys that just they hit you super hard and they can take a super hard punch, or chop or whatever. Yeah. Ishii, of course, Minoru Suzuki, Togi Makabe. Those guys, those are the real tough guys of New Japan. And Michael Elgin is in that group too. He's a big tough dude. He can take a chop and give one right back. And like there were matches where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe they're gonna put in like Ibushi with Michael Elgin that was a different group. Sorry, but say Yoshihashi with Michael Elgin or Hangman Page even, because Elgin is just so scary and he hits you so hard. You're like, oh my goodness, how are these guys going to take it?
Yeah, I just don't understand how the concussion rate must be through the roof out there, man.
I have no idea how that works. But I thought Ishii had a great tournament. I thought Sonata had a great tournament. Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr., by the way, finished for a tie for the most points in B Block with 12. Naito finishing with 12. Ibushi and Kenny Omega. Then we had Ishii finishing with 10. Sonata with 8. And then Tama Tonga, Toru Yano, Hiroko Goto, and Juice Robinson with 6. Toru Yano was really fun to watch. I thought he had a good tournament. He lost
interesting things. He does interesting things in his match. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's just he's quirky.
He's clever.
Yeah,
and he's got a legit background. Like he was a very high level amateur wrestler. He fought MMA once. Like Toru Yano looks like a joke, but he's no joke at all. You look at his ears, you could tell the guy's no joke. You know, Toru Yano only with 6 points, but he beat for his 3 wins Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Tama Tonga. Like, you wouldn't expect Toru Yano to beat the top guys in the block, and those are his only victories. It's kind of weird.
That's fantastic booking.
But it's great booking the way it turned out, right?
Yeah, and I just...
Like, it all makes sense in the end.
Yeah, and watching this tournament, you get to see the intricacies of all these guys' characters, and it's made me really appreciate the intricacies of these guys. Like I always knew Naito was amazing, but watching this tournament, seeing his whole Tranquilo act, he's fantastic. More than ever. I feel like I know these guys. I'm really excited for the next round of matches.
Yeah, man, you're really invested now. I think it's good. The G1 is a great showcase of what New Japan Wrestling is, and I think it's where a lot of guys make their name and find their place in the company. Like your performances over the G1 will dictate how they book you over the next year. It's very important to show up in the G1 and look good.
Yeah.
How did you think? I want to ask you. Yeah.
Speaking of looking good,
yeah.
What do you think of the air guitar stuff?
For Tanahashi?
Yeah,
I think it's all right.
Gives the air guitar.
Man, people love it, right?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Anyway.
What did you think of Okada? He had a weird G1.
I thought he was on the edge of a heel. I mean...
It was odd. Like, he would come out with the balloons. He seemed to be a different Okada. He's coming off a very long title reign, and he's lost some. Like he lost his first 2 matches in the G1, and then you're like, well, what's happening with Okada? He pulled it together. He made it to the last match in A Block there that meant everything against Hiroshi Tanahashi. Had he won, he would have won A Block. So, Okada came close, but it was just like a weird showing from Okada. He had some good matches, but not every one of his matches I thought was amazing. I feel like other guys, like maybe Omega and Naito, but that's what we're saying about B Block. I think B Block was the best,
definitely
the best talent and the best matchups and stuff like that. But Okada, he did all right, but
it was a bit underwhelming. But like you said, he got to the end. He got to the last day.
But he was booked like that. Like I wanted to see.
He seemed a little lost out there, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like it's weird for him not to be that champion guy, and now he's just another one of the guys, and he's trying to find his way as like who is Okada now? Who is the Rainmaker?
He threw some pretty stiff ass Rainmakers, to say the least. But yeah, what do you do? And
he wrestled Rey Mysterio on the last night there in a 6-man tag. It was man, I forget what they called him, Pro Wrestler Sengoku something. But it was Ryusuke Taguchi. It was Taguchi under some sort of mask. I don't know. It was some video game in Japan.
Okay.
I don't really get it. Him, Kushida, and Rey Mysterio against Okada, and Roppongi 3K, and that match was a lot of fun to watch.
Okay.
Rey Mysterio, his second appearance for New Japan. I wasn't expecting it; just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's on his own schedule. You know, he likes it there. But looking forward, so in the future now,
yeah,
who do you think has the brightest future? And at least in your eyes, what do you think?
What do you mean the brightest
future? From Block A, I look at all these. I look at everyone in there, and to me, it's either Jay White because of his great performance and his great heelness, or Suzuki because me and my girlfriend were talking about it, and she just started watching. She's like, "Who is that guy? He just hits everyone in the face."
Yeah,
like, yes, that is the exact impression of Suzuki that I get. And the more I watch him, the more I like him.
Yeah, he's my favorite guy.
Yeah, and then from A Block, well, like we were just talking about Zack Sabre Jr. I think he's going somewhere. Easily Omega, of course, Ibushi, but for me, Naito, again, getting into his character, he's someone I really want to watch in the future, almost more than anyone.
Yeah, he was very interesting. The fact that he lost to Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega during his tournament, and the matches that he had with them were so good. It's a weird spot that he's in right now. He lost to Jericho, he lost to Ibushi, he lost to Omega. Where does he go from here? You know, maybe a little feud here with Zack Sabre Jr., but then he beats him, and then what?
Yeah, and I love the call.
And he did he beat him in the G1 here? Naito and Zack Sabre Jr.
No, that was it.
Yeah, he did. Oh yeah, that was the fun. Yeah, he wound up losing.
Wound up losing.
Yeah, so I guess that could continue, and Naito could try and get a revenge on him, or not. You know, maybe not.
I love the call whenever he goes for his Destino.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get it, Destino.
No.
And it's like the same call if he gets it. Destino.
Yeah.
It's like the same call.
Yeah, but it's slightly different,
slightly different.
Destino! You know?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Kevin Kelly's very good on commentary.
I admire him so much, man. I think he does a spot on job, man. He sounds really informed. He gets the calls right. He's into it. You know, I really appreciate his work.
Yeah, and he's into it for a long time too. Those are long shows, and he's there every day, and he seems excited about it every single minute. You know, which is good. It's not easy to do. The commentary in New Japan is great. Even Rocky Romero did really good doing color. So
going forward to Destruction, who are you looking at the most in your mind?
Well, it seems like there's a lot of shows here going on for this Destruction. It's like Road to Destruction and then different nights of Destruction throughout Japan. So September 7th, 8th, and 9th, there are 3 shows called Road to Destruction. And then the 15th, they're in Hiroshima. The 17th, they're in Beppu. And then the 23rd, they're in Kobe. So it seems like several shows going on for Destruction. People will be destroyed.
They'll be destroying each other's bodies more and more and more.
Yeah.
Speaking of destroyed bodies, R.I.P. Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Yeah, that's sad.
He was only 63.
It's crazy.
See this picture? Me and him?
Yeah. You met Jim the Anvil Neidhart?
I wrestled him.
You wrestled him?
He was one of my more high-profile victories. Jake the Snake DDT'd him, and then Green Phantom covered him up for the 1-2-3.
Wow. When was this?
2001.
And what was he like?
He was a great guy, man.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. He liked designing clothes. He had these fantastic clothes that he would wear, like one-piece, huge V-neck down to the belly button, leopard print suit. You know, it was like fantastic. And like Jim, that's a really amazing outfit you got going on. Oh, thanks, man. I designed it myself. And like, wow, you're the best, even more.
Wow.
Anyway.
Yeah, he seemed like quite a character. And of course, his daughter Natalia, Natty Neidhart, in the WWE. I've seen a lot of Jim on Total Divas with Natty, and it's got to be real sad for her and the whole Hart family.
Yeah.
It's sad.
They still didn't release details, but I'm sure his heart gave out, man.
He was a big guy, and he'd
lived
been through it.
He lived a hard life, too.
The demons, as we call it.
Yeah, the demons. All right.
Yeah. Well, you really brought this show to a halt to that.
Well, it's over, I feel.
This show's over? You're ending the show like that?
I'm ending the show like that.
Thanks, Green Phantom. Good job, man. So that's it. That's the G1. You had fun. You enjoyed it. Let me ask you this. Who do you think, of all the people that were in the G1, who will not be in the G1 next year? Give me one guy from A Block and one guy from B Block you think will not be there next year, and tell me why.
I think Yoshihashi. I like him, but it seems that they make him kind of weak.
Yeah.
So I don't him or maybe Elgin. I don't know. Even though they're both they could be there, but
they have talent.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pick somebody, right?
I would say Yoshihashi too.
Yeah, I was trying to pick someone
because when he comes out, I'm just not that excited.
Yeah.
And I'd say in B Block, I would go with Hiroki Goto because he's another guy that I just see and I'm just like, meh, exactly. whatever. And everybody else in B Block I was pretty impressed with. Juice Robinson, Ishii, Yano, Omega, Ibushi, Tonga, Naito, Sanada, Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, those guys are all guys that you would expect to stick around for a long time in New Japan.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas Goto, he's the open-weight champion, the never open-weight champion, but he did wind up losing to the U.S. champion, Juice Robinson, on the final night of the tournament. So that shows you even where New Japan feels Juice and Goto are. They're kind of mid-level champions, but Juice over him. Juice and Cody had a little exchange in one of the tag matches. Cody returned, and the Young Bucks returned for the last weekend of this whole tour. And Cody seems like he's going to face Juice for the U.S. title on a show coming up. And
if Juice wants to get above that mid card, he's got to beat Cody. If he doesn't, I don't know. Just doesn't seem to have much hope.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see at Destruction starting in a couple weeks. Fans out there, thanks for listening.
Whoa, why are you wrapping this thing up? This thing's not over. I have to tell you that there was a title change, too.
Oh.
Were you aware that the never openweight tag, triple or six-man tag titles change hands?
No.
Marty Scurll and the Young Bucks lost to Tama Tonga Loa, and the Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori, who returned from a brief stint in Impact Wrestling.
Okay. And notice that Fale's not in there. I just don't. They think he's not ready. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why Fale wasn't part of that team, but
he's
I think
the bodyguard.
I think they're trying to find a way to introduce Taiji Ishimori, like into the club.
Yeah.
Because they're just Tongans right now, but it's three of them. It doesn't seem like, oh, okay, here's the next big New Japan show. Now we figured it out. Why are we talking about Destruction? The show that I think we should be looking at is September 30th at the Long Beach Walter Pyramid. So New Japan is going to be in California September 30th. And I'm sure the Destruction shows throughout September are going to be big, but I feel like they're all going to be leading to this big show in the United States. So that's the big one coming up.
Fighting Spirit
Unleashed, September 30th in Long Beach, California.
Still a month and a half away.
Yeah, it's still a long ways away, which leaves us to figure out when the next episode of this will be.
I think we should do it after Destruction.
After all of Destruction?
Well, yeah, it's like
there's a lot of Destruction though. Because see, Destruction ends September 23rd.
Okay.
What are we gonna do? Do a show after Destruction and then another show a week later after Fighting Spirit Unleashed? I like how we discuss the schedule for this podcast on the podcast.
How about September?
How about mid-September, mid-Destruction? If we're not destroyed by then,
exactly.
We do another What's Fandom. All right,
here.
Mid-September. Over here, after these?
Yeah, I'd say.
After these.
Yeah.
So before these, but after these.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so sometime mid-September.
Between September 8th and 14th, we will be back with this podcast.
There you go. That's a Green Phantom guarantee.
Yeah.
You got any more notes there? You got a lot going on.
No, not really.
You good?
I'm good, brother.
You want to plug your thing? Something?
Get with the green.
That's it. Get with the green. That's a general plug for you.
Check out Facebook, Instagram. Buy some Green Phantom merch. Come
you
see
gotta
Green
say,
Phantom.
you gotta say where you can be found.
I'm gonna be found.
People are gonna be on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah,
you gotta say what your Instagram and Facebook accounts are.
Just follow the Green Phantom on Facebook, Green Phantom 514 on Instagram.
Yeah,
and you can see that in the near future I'll be wrestling in Montreal. I'm gonna be wrestling Psychosis in early September. Yeah.
Psychoses?
Yeah, that should be pretty cool.
When is this happening?
And then September 15th, we'll be back at IWS.
Where's that going to be?
Club Unity downtown.
I think I'm actually going to show up for that show.
You better.
Not like last time.
And against Psychosis, it's a Sunday afternoon show.
Oh, no.
You can't, eh?
September 15th is not a Sunday.
No, that's a Saturday show. That's IWS, taped for TV. Green Phantom is probably going to be going for his revenge match. A tables match, I believe, against Black Dynamite.
But that's
Jeremy,
not...
the Barnyard Barnoff, Black Russian Prophet.
But that's not against Psychosis.
No.
Psychosis is when?
Is September 9th.
Oh, September
which
9th.
Which is a Sunday, I think.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, tune in.
Yeah. Find you all over the place. You can find me at Dave Simon MMA on Twitter and Instagram, WrestlingUncensored.net, iTunes, YouTube, Google Play. You know the deal. I'm Dave Simon.
Get with the green in Japan.
This has been What's Phantom in Japan.